right, today we're going to be starting off with how to make your gargoyles. First of all, you have a piece of clay, and with your piece of clay, everybody's getting the exact same amount to start off with. It's 150 grams. So what you're going to begin with, notice that this clay is kind of a disaster. It's all kind of like been torn up, and some of them are in different pieces. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to start patting this into a ball. So when you're putting this into a ball, it's best if you're using the palm of your hands. And part of what you're trying to do is you're needing to make sure that all of these cracks and any like big crevices and things are out of your project. So you need to take a few moments and pat this together into a really, really nice ball. And once you're done with the ball, then what you're going to have is a nice smooth ball. I am going to caution you against doing a ball for too long. If you do too long with your hands and patting it together, it's really, really going to dry out the top surface. So be careful about that. Next, what you're going to be doing is look at your sketch, and part of what you're going to do is you're going to have your clay, and this clay is going to be this is going to be the head, the body, and probably the tail. Sometimes people need to add just a little bit for the tail. But what I'm going to do here is, let's take that out of the way so you don't have to see that. So what you're going to do here is, instead of ripping this off to go ahead and put it right back on, instead what we're going to do is kind of like shape shift this and make it so that you're molding your clay or moving the clay in the direction of where you want it to go. Notice that I'm moving it kind of slowly. We don't want to make it where it's going to be where it's like too much all at once. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to thin out the body here. So I'm going to go ahead and just shape shift and move and change the shape of the clay. Now you should know that at the very, very beginning, when you first get your clay, it's going to be the easiest to make this happen. After today, your clay is not going to be nearly as moldable. So I have a little bit of a separation between the head, the body, and the tail. Now I do think the head is maybe a little too I want it a little bit longer, so you can keep like kind of changing the shape a little bit further. So I'd like that a little bit skinnier, a little bit longer. I would like this body just a little skinnier. I'm going to make it kind of like a lizard sort of creature. And then the tail, I want the tail to be a little bit more ridged at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and take this a little bit more here. A couple of good things to think about with your clay is how thick you're going to get your clay. You want to make sure that all of your clay is nice and strong and sturdy. If it's any thinner than about the size of your pinky, that's going to be too thin, and it's going to be much, much more likely to break. Think of it breaking and snapping kind of like a pretzel stick. So you don't want that to happen. So no thinner than your pinky. So I'm going to take this, and you can see that I'm still kind of shaping the end of my tail here. All right, after I have that shaped, now I am ready to go ahead and start on some of the details. Actually, before I start on some of the details, what I should have told you is to go ahead and blend some of this together. You can keep blending and smoothing out the surface. I always say that you need to give your gargoyle a nice massage. Make sure that you're blending all of the fingerprints out and everything. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop the video, and we'll talk about your extra details and things.